Hello friends, welcome back to my channel again. Today let's take a look at my top 10 books of 2024. I am a bit late to this party, but nonetheless I took my time to curate this list because I read some wonderful books in the year of 2024 and I have come up with my top 10 for this video. And I have to mention a fact that I did not include any middle grade books or non-fiction books here. As a matter of fact, I would like to take a few minutes to just mention them as a honorable mentions here in this video. And one of such book is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, and A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket, and In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park, and The Girl, the Cat, and the Navigator by Matilda Woods. These were all some of the middle grade and non-fiction books that I enjoyed and loved in the past year, but I did not include in this list. So this is purely adult fiction, and let's see the ranking of them. So at number 10, we have Days at the Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Ekizawa. This is a very simple and short book of life, of love, of connection between human, and that is what I loved most about this book. It's about the connection that we create with other human beings. And this follows a girl, and that girl is recently being turned down, and she discovers that her fiance is getting married to someone else. So she's heartbroken basically, and she comes to a small village in Japan where her uncle has a bookstore, an old bookstore, and she stays in that bookstore and she gets to heal there basically. And that is a beautiful connection between her uncle and herself. And that is the first half of the book, and the second half follows the relationship between the uncle and his wife, and how this girl tries to make things right for them. It's such a unique and very simple story that will get you hooked up, and this is very short, fairly short, and you can read it in just a day, and I highly recommend you to check this out. At number 9, I have a book called What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez, and this book has two of my most favorite movies jumbled into together, and one is Indiana Jones and the other is The Mummy. This book is basically a combination of these two movies with a romance twist. I loved the chemistry between the lead characters. It's basically about a girl whose parents have gone for expedition in Cairo, Egypt, and they are lost, presumed dead, and now she wants to get to know what happened to her parents. So she forces herself to get into an expedition in Cairo, and they basically find out the remnants of Cleopatra in this book, and this book is the first part of a duology. I haven't read the final one yet. It is out by November 2024. I haven't read yet. I want to. This was really very good. It has superb illustration in between, which I loved. The book is fast-paced and it ends with a cliffhanger, making it even more interesting for me to pick up the next book very soon. So I would highly recommend you to check out this book if you love Indiana Jones and the Mummy movies. At number 8, with no surprise, I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. I enjoyed it. I made a separate reading blog for it also. If you're interested, I'll link it down below in the description box. And that book is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. This story follows Mika Moon. She's a witch, but she doesn't want to showcase herself as a witch to the world. And she kind of imitates of being a witch in online, and she creates some witchy videos, which is in trend basically. And people watch that. But one of a family who is taking care of 4 witches, small young witches, they find her to be true witch. They identify her as a true witch, and they reach out to her asking her to take care of these 4 witches and teach them witchcraft. She basically takes up this job, and it's very cozy and it's very fun, and there is a romance twist to it. More than the romance, I loved the setting. This spoke to me more like the house in the Cerulean Sea, which I love and adore from the bottom of my heart. So this was making me really fluffy inside, and it's really good. If you want to have a very good time with a book, not to think anything or not to get involved with serious topics or anything, it's just a cozy book to read during the holiday season or something like that. If you have a holiday, just get yourself a cup of coffee or tea, grab this book, you will not be disappointed. At number 7, there is an interesting duology that I read this year, and it has my entire heart. It was so super. I loved the writing style. It was so poetic. The romance in it was so good. I'm not a romance book reader. If you have been watching my video, you would know that I seldom read romance, but this romance made my heart flutter, and it was so good. I loved it completely, and that is the Letters of Enchantment duology. It's the first book, The Divine Rivals, and the second book, The Ruthless Vows. And look at how much I have annotated this. The annotation, it's just so satisfying to watch this after reading. It's so satisfying. I keep on flipping these pages even after I have read it over 6 months ago. I keep coming back to these books just to look at the annotations. That's how much I enjoyed it. So basically, this story follows two people, Roman Kit and Iris Vino. Both are arch nemesis. They are fighting for the same job, and they get the job basically, but there is some war going on, and it's between the gods of those world. And it has the fantasy part of this book is not so overwhelming, not over the top. It's mild, and it's like happening in every day. It's very cool to know what if the World War II had a fantasy twist to it. It was such a nice theme, and I like reading books about wars, not because of the gore, but because of the psychology between the people during that time. And this book was really, really very good, and I loved it to my entire heart. The next two books are the best gothic books that I ever read in my entire life. And at number 6, we have a gothic book, and that is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. And this is quite an experience to say, because this is translated from Spanish, and this is happening in the 1950s Barcelona. So in order to understand the kind of setup, the kind of world building in that was little bit difficult in the initial phase, but later on you get so much invested in the characters that you just forget what you're understanding or what you're not understanding. But this was giving me eerie, suspenseful, spine chilling moments that was very, very beautifully written. And this follows a character called Daniel, and he realizes that his father is a member of a secret society that guards older books, and he one day stumbles upon one book, and he has to guard it with his entire life. After that book comes to his hand, he realizes that someone is trying to destroy all the work of that author, and he's in a grave danger, and he wants to solve this mystery. And in the meanwhile, he learns a lot about that writer too. It's such a beautiful book, and I intend to read a lot from this author more. It was quite an experience. I say it once again, it was literally not reading an experience. You have to try it if you love gothic literature. At number 5, I'm super excited about this book because this is a book from one of my favorite author, Daphne du Maurier, and that book is My Cousin Rachel. I literally read this in a single sitting, and I couldn't think of anything else for 24 hours, literally. That kind of feeling that a book gives you, just making you think about that book even after you have finished it. And that's the kind of power that a writer has. Even though the characters of this book are very gullible and makes you very angry and everything, but the writing style will still hold you together to get through this. I loved this book to my entire core. So this story is about Philip, and his cousin Ambrose has some health issues. He has to travel during the coldest winter months of England. He has to travel southernwards, and one such trip he finds this girl called Rachel, and he marries him there. And he keeps on sending letter to Philip that he has found the love of his life, he's happy and everything. But gradually the letter gets it doesn't make any sense. He thinks that Rachel is trying to kill him, and one such day he eternally dies, and he has to figure out whether Rachel really killed him or not. Rachel now comes to England to meet Philip, and they both meet each other. Oh my god, the story is really, really suspenseful, and it's atmospheric. It's kind of ended in a cliffhanger, kind of an open ending, to be honest. But I loved the story. I loved the way they told the entire plot, and I kind of mystiqued by the character Rachel. That is the one particular thing that I love about Daphne du Maurier. She writes women so beautifully, and she gives them suspenseful, mystic character to them that it is very hard to understand them as black and white. They are always gray, and that is beautiful as it is. So this is a very interesting book. I would highly, highly, highly recommend you to check this out. At number 4, there is an interesting book that speaks a lot about feminism during 1950s of America. I think you might have guessed what this book is about, because I think I have been ranting about it for a long time this past year. And the book is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. This story is following Elizabeth. She is really very good at chemistry, but she is denied the privilege of having a higher position in the Department of Chemistry just because she's a woman. And it is set in 1950, so think about the kind of social setup and the mindset during that time. So she kind of ends up as a cooking host in a show TV show, and she mixes chemistry with that cooking show, and she inspires a lot of women to do much more better than what their life is already is. So Elizabeth is really a great character, and she's a single mother. She has a kid, and she was never married. And to imagine someone who's not married and having a kid in 1950s of America was really very unimaginable. She was judged constantly, and she was aspiring to become a PhD holder also. Everything was against it, and she just pushed through it, and she succeeds and she flourishes like anything, all the while inspiring a lot of women. This is a very nicely told feminist story, I should say, and I loved it to the core. We have come to the top 3 of my list, and how come that there is no fantasy in my list? So the next 2 books are the most chunkiest fantasies I've ever read in my entire life, and in number 3 we have Grace of King by Ken Liu. This is a kind of a series that has 4 books, I think, and one is much more chunkier than the other. This looks very small in front of all the other books in that series, and I'm super intimidated to read it, but nonetheless I loved the story. This is kind of Game of Thrones set in the Asian world, I should say, because it has a lot of small kingdoms, and one king comes and unites it, and finally he's dead now. Now chaos is in the play, and everyone tries to get their own share of land, and there are a lot of kings, lot of characters. Most of them I don't remember, but I love the drama. The drama is top notch in this. It's very, very good. I've heard about it that the second book plays a lot more character oriented plots, and this book was a general idea and general setup. They just have put us in the mood of this fantasy world, and the other books are very much character driven. So I'm looking forward to read a lot about these characters, because I love these characters. They're very interesting, they're very vivid, they're very, very fresh to read, because I've read quite a lot of fantasy, but this was still fresh for me. I loved the setup. And if you're looking for a very lengthy book series, a fantasy series to read, I highly recommend this Dandelion Dynasty series. At number 2 is, I think, the best decision I took in 2024 is to read Brandon Sanderson, and the book that I read is The Warbreaker, and this is a standalone fantasy by him. He has written a number of series, a number of books. I don't even understand from where to start, but once I heard that this is a standalone, you can just read it as an individual book, I went for it because I wanted to know what Brandon Sanderson writes. Everyone on the internet keeps on talking about him and how good his books are, so I wanted to try it. Finally, last year was the year, and I read it. I regret nothing. I'm in love with this God King character. If you have read this book, you'll understand what I'm talking about. The God King in this book is such an interesting character to have conversation with, to just hang out with. It's a very interesting setup. The magic system was very fresh for me, and it basically follows 2 sisters, I think, Viviana and Ciri. So Ciri is being sent to a faraway kingdom to marry the God King, and Viviana is trying to rescue her sister, because the both countries are in rivalry now, and there is a war brewing up, and they are supposed to stop the war. And this is the just generalized plot, but the characters, the dialogues, everything was so good. I just wanted badly to have a film out of this, to enjoy that vividness, enjoy that magic system, enjoy the characters coming alive on screen. I just wanted someone to make this as a movie, and that is how much I loved it. I can't stop thinking about that Light Song character. He was really very good. It's really an impressive story. It's going to stick with me for a very long time to come, and I'm happy that finally I read Brandon Sanderson. We have come almost to the end of this video. There is only one book left to discuss. This is the first book that topped on this list, and when I read this book, I immediately know that this was the best book that I read last year, and I know that it is going to top this list, whatever books I'm going to read after that. That is how well it is written, and that is how intensely beautiful it was, and it made a huge impact on me, and I can't stop thinking about it and talking about it. The book I'm talking about is The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. So this story follows 2 sisters. They are twins, and they basically belong to a family, a black family actually, but they are not very black in skin color. They are from black ancestry, but they look a lot like white. But neither of this community accepts them, nor the white, neither the black. So they are in the middle, and they choose to live 2 different lives. The twins, one of the twin chooses to marry a black guy, and one girl goes to a white guy and kind of tells lies about her past, that she is white, and marries him and has a family with them. But nonetheless, even though their paths are very, very different from each other, they are intertwined, and the story between that world is really good. And I understood a lot of generational trauma, generational pain, and the basic struggle of leading a life as a black people. It was very, very interesting to read, and that is something I think everyone should read. And story is a best tool to tell those kind of pain and message to people. So I loved what the author has did to the story, and I'm very, very interested in this author's other works. I definitely would check it out, and this story is going to stick with me for a very long time to come. This is one of the best books that I read in the, not in the 2024, in the entire lifetime. So this is a book that I highly recommend you to check it out. If you're taking any book from this pile of books, you have to pick this one up. This has my entire heart. So that's about it, guys. These are all the 10 books that I ranked for 2024, and 2025 has begun. I wish you all a very, very happy and prosperous new year. I, for one, cannot wait to discover what more books I can read in this year. And I can't wait to read a ton of books and get to know the characters and get involved in that world and get lost in that fantasy. Books are my companion, and I'm hoping that it is the same in 2025 too. And I hope you find all the good books that you want to read in 2025. My best wishes for you. And also, do let me know in the comments that what are the best books that you read in this past year in 2024. I would love to know. I would love to chat with you guys, and do recommend me all sorts of books that I might like if you think I would like. And it has always been a very pleasure to chatting with you guys. Until I see you again in a very next video with a bookish content, this is Sushmita. Bye bye.